Good evening, and welcome to the Seattle Children's Autism Blog News Flash. I'm Jim Mancini.
And I'm Rafe Bernier. First up tonight, epidemiological research suggests that taking antidepressant medications during pregnancy brings risks and benefits. It's a confusing message from others. The link between autism and antidepressants was first highlighted in 2011 in a report suggesting that prenatal exposure to a class of antidepressants called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, is associated with a modest increase to the risk of autism. Now, there have been 3 epidemiological studies published since then that show conflicting results. Late in 2015, JAMA Pediatrics published a study focusing on 145,000 children born in Quebec between 1998 and 2009. They examined medical records to determine which mothers filled SSRI prescriptions. They found that mothers that filled SSRI prescriptions were twice as likely to have a child with ASD as those that didn't. Importantly, though, and not captured in the media hype, is that of the more than 2,500 children exposed to antidepressants in utero, only 31 of them turned out to have autism. So most of the children exposed didn't develop autism. Similarly, of the 1,054 children with autism in the study, most of them weren't exposed to SSRIs. So it's really important to consider that women who discontinue SSRI use when pregnant are more likely to experience a relapse of depression, and that carries its own risks. For example, women with untreated depression are more likely to give birth to small, underdeveloped, or premature infants. So while this recent JAMA paper suggests there is an increased risk with SSRI exposure, it's important to know that the absolute risk of autism remains small, and going off the necessary medications can be very risky too. Jim?
Thanks. Moving on to insurance coverage, great news for federal employees who receive coverage through the Federal Employees Health Benefits Program. As reported by the Washington Autism Alliance and Advocacy, or WA, beginning in 2017, all insurance carriers must cover applied behavioral analysis for children with autism spectrum disorder. This information was communicated via letter to insurance carriers from the Office of Personnel Management on February 26th. The letter states, quote, "Carriers may no longer exclude ABA, and we expect all carriers to offer clinically appropriate and medically necessary treatment for children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder." This continues the trend of insurance covering ABA benefits for children in our state. The remaining exception continues to be self-funded plans that retain the option of whether or not to provide ABA services for children. Families with self-funded plans are encouraged to advocate for coverage through their Human Resources Department. And as always, contact WA for consultation and support with any insurance coverage issues. Our Autism 200 class this month will focus on feeding issues in children with autism, from picky eaters to feeding disorders. Dr. Danielle Dolezal and her team from the Seattle Children's Feeding Clinic will be speaking. And finally, April brings Autism Awareness Month and World Autism Day on April 2nd. We encourage you to light it up blue on April 2nd and look for local activities in your area. In Seattle, we're looking forward to the Walk for Autism on April 2nd and free lectures at the University of Washington's Autism Center.
That's all for now. We'll see you next month.